everyone, I'm Lily, and I'm super excited to have you here. Welcome to our channel, Easy Peasy English. If you want to learn English the easy way and speak confidently in real life, you're in the right place. Let's get started with Ryan before you go.
Hi guys, I'm Ryan.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
You know, you spend months, maybe even years, learning the structural engineering of a new language.
Right, the mechanics.
Exactly. You memorize the nouns, you conquer the verb tenses, you finally reach this point where you can confidently order a coffee or, navigate the subway system in a foreign city.
This is a huge milestone.
It is. But then you actually make a friend. And you sit down across from them, and you realize with absolute dread that you have absolutely no idea how to tell them you're having a terrible day.
Yeah, it's the ultimate linguistic wall. Because language isn't just a GPS for navigating a city. I mean, it's the tool we use to navigate each other.
Right.
When you don't have the vocabulary to explain what's happening inside your own head, you're essentially trapped on an island.
And that isolation, it isn't just inconvenient. It's actually a massive issue for our mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think about it like shaking up a soda can.
Yeah.
If you're experiencing all these complex internal states, stress, joy, frustration, and you have zero way to verbalize them, that pressure just builds and builds.
Until something pops.
Exactly. Eventually, something is going to pop. Letting it out is a psychological necessity.
Precisely. Expressing your feelings provides that crucial internal release. But externally, it does something even more profound. It creates a little bridge between people.
A bridge. I really like that image.
Yeah, imagine you're standing on your island and you're feeling incredibly low. If you simply say, "I'm sad," you've just built a bridge.
And your friend can cross it.
Right. Your friend can walk across that bridge and say, "I'm sorry, can I help?" If you never build the bridge, they don't even know you're struggling. You remain totally alone.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can start constructing these massive emotional bridges, we need the raw materials.
The basic vocabulary.
Yes, the foundational vocabulary. And I think we forget how physical, how deeply universal these basic human triggers actually are. We don't just learn the word for a feeling, we map it to an experience we've all shared.
The physical reality is really what grounds the abstract concept.
Exactly. Let me take a look at a completely hypothetical, but, totally relatable, disastrous morning.
Let's hear it.
So, you wake up and you're excited. That's that physical buzzing sensation right before you go on a holiday trip.
Love that feeling.
Right. But then you look out the window and it's pouring rain all day. You really wanted to go to the beach. Instantly, you're sad. The energy drops. You feel heavy. Maybe you want to cry.
The universal rainy day disappointment.
Yeah. So you leave the house anyway, and you hear a really strange noise in the hallway. Your heart rate spikes. You're scared, exactly like watching a spooky movie in the dark.
The adrenaline hits.
You run outside, and you literally watch the taillights of your bus driving away. Now you're angry.
Oh, that is the worst.
You feel physically hot, you want to shout at the pavement, and by the time you finally make it to work, you have a massive public speaking presentation.
So now your stomach is in knots.
Your palms are sweating, you're nervous, and when the whole ordeal is over, you just want to collapse into bed because you are completely, utterly tired.
It's a perfect distillation. Those core feelings, happy, sad, angry, tired, excited, scared, nervous, they are the absolute bedrock of human experience.
Right.
If you can communicate those, you've laid the foundation.
But I've noticed something that completely paralyzes language learners right at this foundation level.
Oh, the grammar trap.
Yes, they hit this grammatical wall. They get locked into a debate over saying, "I feel" versus "I am."
Oh, right.
So, for example, a learner will stop dead in their tracks wondering if they should say, "I feel sad" or "I am sad." And honestly, I get it.
It seems like a big difference.
If you think about it philosophically, isn't there a massive difference? Like, I am sounds like a permanent identity. I am sad. That's who I am as a person.
Right, like a permanent state.
Whereas I feel sad is just a passing emotional weather system.
That is a brilliant philosophical distinction, and it is entirely the wrong way to look at it when you're trying to communicate daily emotions.
Wait, really? So I'm overcomplicating it.
We all overcomplicate it. What's crucial to understand here is that in everyday conversational English, both phrases are simply describing your current state in this exact moment.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I feel tired and I am tired are completely interchangeable. They mean the exact same thing to the person listening to you.
So the advice is just to stop overthinking the existential weight of the verb to be.
Exactly. Just pick one and use it. The goal is connection. not philosophical or grammatical perfection. Do not let the fear of a tiny distinction stop you from throwing that bridge across to the other person.
That is incredibly liberating. Just pick one. I love that.
Keep it simple.
But of course, as we grow and navigate adult life, those primary colors, happy, sad, angry, they start to feel a little inadequate.
They don't quite cover everything.
Right. Telling your boss you are sad because a project failed doesn't quite capture the nuance.
No, it doesn't. Once you have the foundation, you need to dial up the resolution. You need highly specific vocabulary to capture the friction of daily life.
Let's talk about that friction. Let's look at frustrated.
Oh, a very common one.
Because this isn't just angry. Frustrated is so specifically tied to an action. It's when things are difficult and they're just not working no matter what you do.
Like building furniture.
Exactly. Imagine trying to put together a bookshelf. The instructions are completely unclear and you have like 3 extra screws left over. That is pure frustration.
It's the emotion of a blocked goal. Then you have something like overwhelmed.
Oh, that's a heavy one.
It is. This is a heavy, almost crushing sensation. It's having far too much on your mind or too much on your plate.
Like a student during finals week.
Exactly. A student who has 3 final exams, 2 essays due, and they're working a part-time job. The sheer volume of responsibility makes them feel like they can't breathe. That's overwhelmed.
No, wait, let me push back on a distinction here. What about anxious?
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I've always kind of used nervous and anxious interchangeably. If I have a big test, I'm nervous. If I have a big test, I'm anxious. It's the same thing, right?
Not quite. There's a subtle but important difference in the mechanics. Yeah. Nervous is usually an immediate physiological response. It's the sweaty palms 5 minutes before you walk onto a stage.
Okay, that makes sense.
Anxious is stronger, and it's almost always directed at the future. It's that lingering worry about something that hasn't even happened yet.
Oh, right.
It's the dread you feel 3 days prior to a job interview where your stomach constantly feels a bit funny.
Ah, the funny stomach, the slow burn worry. That makes total sense. Okay, let's pivot to some positive nuance. Proud.
A great one.
This isn't just happy. It's the specific warmth you get when you achieve something difficult, like finishing a massive project at work.
Or seeing someone else succeed.
Yes. Or even better, watching someone you love succeed. Watching a child ride a bike for the first time without training wheels. You aren't just happy, you are proud.
And on the flip side of that, you have disappointed.
Which is the opposite. Actually, thinking about antonyms is a great study habit for learners. Proud versus disappointed. Happy versus sad.
Exactly. Mapping out those opposites builds your range. Disappointed happens when a specific hope simply doesn't materialize.
Like when your team loses.
Yeah, it's a very particular flavor of sadness caused by unmet expectations. Your favorite sports team losing the championship game. You're not necessarily crying, but there's an emptiness.
And speaking of emptiness, there is lonely. I find the mechanics of this one fascinating because it has nothing to do with physical proximity.
No, not at all.
You can be in a crowded room, surrounded by people at a party, and feel profoundly lonely. It's the internal wish for a real connection, wishing you had someone to truly talk to.
Which is why having this vocabulary is so critical.
How so?
Well, if you tell a friend you feel sad at a party, they might just hand you a drink. If you tell them you feel lonely, they'll sit down and really talk to you. But the specificity changes the response entirely.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because having the exact right word is still only half the battle.
What's the other half?
Sometimes you need to adjust the volume. You have to explain just how frustrated or how anxious you are. Otherwise, you're communicating in a monotone.
Ah, you're talking about intensity adverbs.
Yes. It's literally a volume dial for your emotional state.
Right.
Words like a bit, a little, very, really, completely, and extremely. Adding these words is like adding shading to a drawing. It gives the feeling dimension.
The contrast is really stark if you look at the real-world application. Let's take sadness again.
Okay.
If you drop your ice cream cone on the sidewalk, you are a bit sad. It's an unfortunate setback, but your day will go on.
Sure.
But if you lose a deeply sentimental family heirloom, you aren't a bit sad. You are completely devastated.
Completely devastated. The magnitude of that phrase is huge.
Exactly. Or look at our earlier distinction. You might be a little bit nervous to introduce yourself to a new coworker.
Just a little flutter.
Right. But you would be extremely anxious before undergoing major surgery. These intensity words calibrate your emotions so the listener understands the exact stakes of what you're experiencing.
You know, it's actually super helpful to visually map these out.
Oh, like a chart.
Yeah, just drawing a quick table of feelings categorized by intensity levels. It's a fantastic visual learning tool to memorize which words go with a bit and which go with completely.
That's a great study tip.
But even with the perfect specific word and the visual table and the perfect volume dial, we still have to navigate the bizarre way native speakers actually talk.
Right, because we are rarely literal.
Exactly. We rarely just speak in literal, calibrated statements. We use idioms, we use figurative imagery.
Idioms are essential. They are the true color of daily communication, even though their meaning is, well, entirely opaque if you just look at the individual words.
Let's look at 4 idioms that native speakers use constantly to describe internal states. Starting with a great one. I'm on cloud 9.
The imagery here is literal elevation. If you are on cloud 9, you are extremely happy.
Floating.
Exactly. You are so joyous that you feel untethered from the ground, floating up in the sky. If you just found out you got the job of your dreams, you are on cloud 9.
Okay, here's one for when you're trying to dodge a situation. Feeling under the weather. I use this all the time.
It's an incredibly strategic phrase.
It really is.
It's a polite way to say you are a bit sick, maybe a cold, maybe a headache. But its real power is that it communicates you aren't completely well without forcing you to share specific, potentially gross medical details.
Right. Nobody wants to hear about your stomach bug.
Exactly. You just say, I can't make it to dinner. I'm feeling under the weather. It's socially bulletproof.
Now, this third one has such brilliant psychological imagery, walking on eggshells.
It perfectly captures the physical tension of a delicate social situation. If you are walking on eggshells, you are being extremely careful not to upset someone else.
Because that other person has a completely unpredictable temper.
Precisely. You are treating their mood as if it were a floor made of fragile eggs. One wrong word, one heavy step, and they will crack.
That's so visual.
It perfectly describes the anxiety of dealing with a highly sensitive or easily angered person.
And the final idiom. It broke my heart. This is deep, profound sadness. It's not just a passing disappointment.
No, it's visceral.
The classic example is a beloved pet running away. An event like that doesn't just make you very sad, it fundamentally breaks something inside of you.
Notice how all these idioms replace a clinical description with an image. They make the listener feel the emotion alongside you.
Okay, so we've spent all this time mastering how to broadcast our feelings. We've built the foundation, added the resolution, turned up the volume, and painted it with idioms.
I've built half the bridge.
Right, but a bridge is a two-way street. If you just stand there broadcasting your own emotions, you aren't connecting. You're just a loudspeaker. We have to know how to ask about and respond to the feelings of others.
And that usually requires bypassing the automatic social defenses we all put up.
Right, because if I ask someone, how are you? 99% of the time the answer is, I'm fine.
Even if it's not true.
Exactly. Even if their world is literally collapsing, they will look me in the eye and say, I'm fine.
It's a reflex. So to actually invite them to cross the bridge, you need gentle, specific inquiries. Simply adding one word can change the entire dynamic.
Which word?
Instead of, how are you? He asks, how are you really feeling?
Oh, that's good. It signals that you are off the conversational autopilot. You're actually listening.
Exactly. Or if someone looks visibly down, you can say, do you want to talk about it?
That feels very safe.
The genius of this phrase is the lack of pressure. It's an open door. If they say no, you simply accept it.
Another great one is something on your mind? I love using this when someone is just staring blankly out a window, clearly worried.
Yes, it acknowledges their state.
Right. It acknowledges that they are grappling with something without demanding to know exactly what it is.
So let's say they take the invitation. They walk through the door and share their feelings. The critical skill now is empathy.
Empathy. It's a buzzword, but what does it actually look like in a conversation?
Empathy is simply the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's vital to note, empathy is not about fixing their problem. It is about validating their reality.
Yes. People always try to fix things.
It's a natural instinct.
If a friend says, I'm feeling overwhelmed, our instinct is to say, well, you should just organize your calendar better.
Which doesn't help.
No, that is not empathy. That's a lecture. Instead, we need to use polite phrases that show support. Something as simple as, that must be really hard.
That must be really hard. Validates their struggle entirely. You aren't judging it. Another excellent phrase is, I understand how you feel.
Even if you haven't been in their exact situation.
Exactly. It shows you can relate to the emotion itself, even if your specific life experiences aren't identical.
My absolute favorite response is, I'm here for you.
Very powerful.
It is 3 seconds long, but psychologically it is massive. It instantly removes their isolation. And of course, closing with, thanks for sharing that with me.
That last one builds trust. Opening up is vulnerable. If you express gratitude for that vulnerability, you ensure they will feel safe sharing with you again in the future.
Let's put this into practice. Let's do a couple of quick role plays so we can hear the rhythm of these interactions.
Let's do it.
Let's say we have a colleague who had a brutal day. They say to you, I'm feeling incredibly tired and a bit frustrated today. The database kept crashing. Or maybe I'm just completely overwhelmed.
Your empathetic response bypasses the database issue entirely. You simply say, that must be really hard. I'm here for you if you need to vent.
Perfect. What about a positive one? Someone comes in and says, I am on cloud 9 about the concert tomorrow night.
You meet their energy. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you.
And the hardest scenario, a major life disappointment. A friend says, I'm very sad about the breakup. It honestly broke my heart.
This is delicate.
Right. You don't try to tell them there are plenty of fish in the sea. You just offer the bridge. You say, I'm so sorry. I understand how you feel. Do you want to talk about it?
Exactly. You provide the space.
So what does this all mean when we leave the safety of our friendships and step into the office?
The workplace.
Because the context totally shifts. Expressing emotions at work can feel like navigating a minefield. You can't exactly walk up to your boss and say, my heart is broken over this spreadsheet.
No, professional boundaries require a modified vocabulary.
Right.
It is absolutely vital for mental health to discuss workplace pressure, but the phrasing has to maintain professionalism. There are 2 key concepts for this.
The first is burned out.
Burned out means you are completely depleted from chronic workplace stress. The metaphor is a candle that is burned all the way down.
Just a puddle of wax.
Exactly. There is no wax, no wick. You physically and mentally cannot produce more light. It is a very serious but professionally acceptable way to say you are at your absolute limit.
And the second phrase is a tool to prevent that burnout. Taking a mental break.
If you feel that depletion approaching, you might say to a manager, I just need a quick mental break.
It sounds so much better than I'm losing my mind.
Yes. It communicates that you need a short window of time to step away from the cognitive load to reset. It states a psychological need, but frames it as a strategy for productivity.
Okay, this leads us to what I think is the most mind-blowing aspect of this entire topic.
Oh, the cultural side.
Yes, we've talked about the words, the idioms, the empathy, the workplace, but the very act of expressing emotions is fundamentally tied to culture.
What's fascinating here is that the rules of emotional expression change drastically depending on where you were born.
Exactly. In many cultures around the world, being reserved is the baseline.
It's expected.
You keep your feelings to yourself. Open emotional displays are considered inappropriate, maybe even immature. It's a sign of respect to maintain a stoic exterior.
But in English-speaking cultures, the paradigm is almost the exact opposite.
Totally.
Open emotional expression is widely viewed as a positive trait. Telling someone how you feel demonstrates honesty. It shows authenticity. It is the primary mechanism for building trust.
Think about the psychological friction of that. If you are a language learner from a reserved culture and you are stepping into an English-speaking environment, you aren't just memorizing new vowels.
No, it's much deeper.
You are being asked to completely strip away your cultural armor. You are being asked to wear your heart on your sleeve.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, learning English comes with an invisible cultural syllabus. You are inheriting the cultural expectation of openness that is baked right into the vocabulary.
It is a massive paradigm shift. So how on earth do you practice this without feeling completely naked and vulnerable every time you speak?
You start small. You practice the mechanics in a low-stakes environment.
Like by yourself.
Exactly. One of the best practical exercises is to start a daily feelings journal in English.
I really recommend this. It doesn't have to be a novel, just short, simple prompts.
Right. Keep it brief.
Write down, today I feel blank because blank. For example, today I feel slightly anxious because I have a meeting tomorrow.
It forces you to access the vocabulary and map it to your internal state daily.
You can even map it out into a 7-day calendar, like assigning specific daily themes. Monday is workplace feelings, Tuesday is social feelings.
Oh, a weekly study plan. That's a brilliant way for busy learners to stay on track.
Yeah, and practice 5 easy sentences every morning, like I feel tired today, I am a bit nervous. Simple things to describe your mood.
Another excellent habit is changing how you summarize your day.
What do you mean?
When someone asks how your day was, the default is almost always, "It was good." Challenge yourself to use emotional adjectives instead.
Right. So instead of "it was fine," try saying "my morning was a bit stressful, but I felt really proud of my work by the afternoon."
Exactly.
You are forcing yourself off the autopilot and deliberately practicing the volume dials and the precise vocabulary.
Consistency makes the unnatural feel natural.
We have journeyed through an incredibly complex landscape today. From the basic building blocks of happy and sad to the intense volumes of being completely devastated, right through the idioms and into the profound cultural shifts required to actually use these words.
This raises an important question, though. Something for you to deeply consider as you continue building these emotional bridges in a new language.
Okay, I'm listening.
If English-speaking cultures genuinely expect you to be more open about your inner life,
Right.
does learning and speaking English actually start to change who you are?
Oh, wow.
If you are forced to access and verbalize your feelings every single day using this new emotionally direct vocabulary, do you eventually become a more open, expressive person? Does the language shape your mind?
That is a phenomenal thought to leave you with. Because maybe learning these words isn't just about building a bridge to someone else. Maybe it's about building a brand new version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the language of emotions. Keep practicing, keep putting yourself out there on those bridges, and don't be afraid to find the exact right words for what you're feeling. We'll see you next time.